What is going on, guys? After seeing Kenny Okoye's top 15 strikers in the UFC list, guys, we reacted to it on a live stream, okay? And I wasn't planning on doing this. Y'all suggested we react to it, so I did. And it frustrated me, okay? The list was very interesting, to say the least. So I'm going to put the real top 15 best strikers in the UFC out there, guys, because the list was crazy, okay? Let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with 11 through 15. We're not going to go in too much detail, but 11 through 15, here they are, man. Here they are. 11, we have Islam Makhachev. Now, listen, some of you are going to say Islam should be top 5, maybe top 7. I hear you. I do hear you, because on paper, Islam Makhachev has outstruck Volk twice, outstruck Dustin Poirier, dropped and then finished Charles Oliveira. He has, okay? He really has. But, guys, when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking, let's assume this is a pure kickboxing match, pure striking match, no takedowns involved. And you might say, well, Islam outstruck Volk without even taking him down, guys. Listen, this is the thing you don't understand. Even the thought, the threat of the takedown at all in mixed martial arts, even if that's in the back of your mind, it affects the striking game, I promise you. But we're not going to build a whole criteria list like Kenny did, but I'm going based off my opinion, guys. Obviously, my opinion is 100% correct, so don't disagree with me in the comments. It's pretty useless, but we're going off eye test, basically, effective striking. But, again, it's all opinionated. I'm sure you're going to disagree with me in the comments. But on to number 12, we have Dricus du Plessis, who was in Kenny's top 3. Now, Dricus du Plessis is a great striker. He'll tell you himself, though, that he's not the best striker in the UFC. DDP has such a goofy, goober, awkward style, but it works. It's very effective. Dricus is a guy that does not pass the eye test whatsoever, but he's a very, very effective striker. But we've seen him get outstruck. We've seen him get beat on the feet before. That's just the sad reality of it. But the thing is, I want to throw this out there right now. People say styles make fights, which is very, very true. But at the same time, that does not just mean striker versus grappler. Different types of strikers, stylistically, may determine the outcome, okay? Just because, I know this is going to sound crazy, everybody's going to, get their feathers ruffled, but just because somebody outstrikes somebody else does not always mean they're the better striker. Now, more often than not, sure, but just remember that, okay, guys? Let's keep it going. On to 13, Jean Silva. This one's very tough. Jean Silva passes the eye test with flying colors, guys. Effective striking. He's mixing skill and power. Jean Silva, the only reason I don't have him higher is just because the level of competition that he's fought, it hasn't been proven at the highest level. He has not fought an elite striker yet, but he's piecing up everybody he's fighting. He's bullying. He's bullying fighters on the feet. He's making Bryce Mitchell look like he shouldn't even be in the UFC. He is busting up Drew Doberman. People forget about Drew Doberman, but Jean Silva is busting him up, and the doctors had to stop the fight. But I could see an argument of Jean Silva being higher. We'll see how he does against Diego Lopez, who's not an elite striker himself, but he's a good striker. So we'll have to just see with Jean Silva. Same thing with Mauricio Rufy, guys. Creative striker, looks like a prime Conor McGregor. Based on the eye test, we just haven't seen it proven against elite competition. He knocked out Bobby Green, man. Everybody knocks out Bobby Green, okay? Jean Silva and Mauricio Rufy both have an argument for the top 15. I think it's just too early, okay? 14, we have Sean Strickland. Does not pass the eye test, but he's very, very good. Now, remember what I said with, stylistic matchups on the feet? Dricus du Plessis, 50-45 Strickland on the feet. But Strickland also outstruck Israel Adesanya on the feet. But then when Dricus du Plessis and Izzy fought, Izzy was getting the better on the feet, guys. Y'all see what I'm saying? So how is Strickland outstriking Izzy, but Izzy's outstriking Dricus? It doesn't make sense, guys. I'm telling you. Styles make fights. But Strickland is a great striker, don't get me wrong. The jab and the teep, man, it's crucial. It's crucial. At 15, I got Cyril Gane. I really debated between him and Tom Aspinall. Who's the better striker? We're going to find out Saturday night. We're going to find out at UFC 321, man. I'm excited for that fight a little bit. I am sort of excited for that fight because I'm ready to see Aspinall back in there. And I want to see who's the best striker in the heavyweight division now. I could definitely see a world where Aspinall just takes him down straight away. Twists him into a pretzel, gets an early submission. That's probably what's going to happen. But Cyril Gane's a more technical striker. I will say that. But in terms of effectiveness, it's hard to argue against Tom Aspinall because, he's been knocking everybody out within the first minute. So how can you say Aspinall's not an effective striker? We're just going to have to see, guys. Tom Aspinall also is not knocking out these high-level fighters. It's hard to judge the heavyweights, okay? It is very hard to judge the heavyweights because you've got Tai Tuivasas of the world. You've got the Sergey Spivaks, the Sergey Pavlovich, who at one point looked like a really good striker. He's not. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and get into the top 10. Also want to throw this out there. This is very hard to do. This is very hard to rank all these different styles of striking and determine who's the best, guys. Just throwing that out there. But obviously, I'm 100% correct. Moving on to number 10. Yes, Israel Adesanya. But Strickland outstruck him. He did. He did, man. Israel Adesanya is still at my number 10, guys. Like I said, that is a nightmare matchup for Israel Adesanya. Also, just because a fighter beats a fighter does not always mean that they're the better fighter. Now, again, more often than not, it does. But even if you look at Adesanya versus Imavov, Adesanya won round 1 on the feet, which that's not the say-all, be-all, get-all, however you say it, but Adesanya won the first round. He was ahead on the scorecards. He was outstriking Imavov up to that point and then got caught in the second round. And then rewind to the Dricus du Plessis fight. Israel Adesanya was building into the fight, and on the feet, he looked better than Dricus du Plessis. Ultimately, DDP did get him down and get the submission victory. I still believe Israel Adesanya is the better striker. Now, Izzy, in his prime, would be way higher than 10, in my opinion, but, guys, he can't win a fight. He cannot win a fight. He's 1-4 in his last 5. Izzy's my favorite fighter. Y'all know that. But, man, it's hard to put him up at the top, man. He's getting not just beaten, but he's getting finished. Izzy has lost a step, unfortunately. He's getting older. The striking defense seems to be the problem. He's still pretty fast for the division. He's obviously got that crazy long reach that he uses very well. Izzy, I still believe to be a top 10 striker, but he's barely hanging on at this point. Until I see something different, until I see Adesanya, go and get his revenge against Strickland or piece up Apollo Costa, I can't put him too high, man. That's just a sad reality. Moving on to number 9, we have Magomed Ankalaev. Now, before you freak out, but Magomed Ankalaev outstruck Alex Pereira. Yes, he did. Remember what I said earlier, okay? Magomed Ankalaev is a great striker, don't get me wrong. I think he's top 10. I think he's one of the best boxers, probably the best boxer in the light heavyweight division. He's very, very fast. He's very, very skilled. But like I said, styles make fights because Magomed Ankalaev went out there. Yes, he did outstrike Pereira. You can say that the thread of the takedown was there. I believe it was. But not only that, Magomed Ankalaev also got outstruck by Jan Blachowicz, and Jan Blachowicz got outstruck by Alex Pereira. So these striking matches are not always cherries and lemons, man. So Magomed Ankalaev is in my top 10. I have him at 9. He's a sniper on the feet. He's very, very skilled, very, very fast. That's one of his biggest things for me in the light heavyweight division is his speed, also his accuracy. But Magomed Ankalaev is at the number 9. Moving on to number 8. Volkanovski still in the top 10, man. I thought about this hard. I really thought about this. I almost put Volk outside of my top 10. I couldn't do it. Man. Volkanovski. Now, again, this is kind of similar to the case with Israel Adesanya, except for Volk just had a striking masterclass in his last fight. But Volkanovski is not the same as he was in his prime. Now, Volkanovski is still good. He's obviously still good enough to win the title. But Volk has slightly lost a step. And his chin is a little sus, which some people don't factor in chin in terms of striking. But if you're getting knocked out, that's part of the striking game. But anyway, Volkanovski, I'm not saying his chin's completely washed, no. But his striking defense, guys, y'all know, everybody talks about it. He pulls back with his head straight up in the air, with his chin up in the air. That's not the best visual when it gets him caught. It's got him caught before. But Volkanovski is still a phenomenal striker. Exceptional footwork. He's too fast for you. In and out, stick and move type of fighter is Volkanovski. Popping the jab. You know what it is. He doesn't have any power. And some people say they don't factor in power when they're, factoring who's the best striker, which I think is very, very dumb. Because once again, if you're knocking somebody out, your striking must be pretty effective. Volkanovski does not have power like that, but he is very effective. Sort of a point fighter. People don't want to admit it, but Volkanovski's still a great fighter. Still very fast. He's just slowing down a little bit. Not something crazy. He's not washed, obviously, because he's a champion, but he's still good enough to be a top 10 striker of all time, but I don't have him in my top 5 anymore. I got Volkanovski at the 8. Moving on to 7. JDM. Jack Della Maddalena, guys, he's legit. He is legit. And I think we're going to see his striking on display against Islam. Super excited for that fight. I don't know who I'm picking yet. That honestly could be fight of the year. But JDM, 18-fight win streak, by the way, let me remind you. JDM has never been outstruck. Now, on the striking total, sure, Kevin Holland landed more strikes than JDM. That's the only fighter to do so, as far as I'm concerned. JDM still won the fight. And the fight was 100%. The whole fight was on the feet, but JDM still won. Guys, I want to throw this out there as well. Some people, Kenny says that one of his criteria is strike totals. I don't think that's valid. I do not think that's valid because you have some fighters that are more active, more volume strikers like a Max Holloway, for example. And you also have fighters who are more precise and more, patient, I guess, with their shot selection. Jack Della Maddalena, yes, he landed 20 less strikes than Kevin Holland, but he landed the more effective strikes and he won the fight. Also, Kevin Holland had an 8-inch reach advantage on Jack Della. Just want to throw that out there as well. JDM's never been outstruck. He's never been outstruck. He's on an 18-fight win streak. And the thing is, he's not even having these close fights on the feet. I'm talking just on the feet with these fighters. Bilal Muhammad, that fight was very, very close. But if you look at just the stand-up, JDM beat him up bad. Just look at Bilal Muhammad's face after the fight. He was wearing the damage on his face badly. JDM has an argument for the best boxer in the UFC. He's so fluid. He switches stances so effortlessly. He's able to fight out of both stances as well. Good counter striker, good pressure fighter when he wants to be. JDM's very, very good, man. His kicks are also underrated. He's not, he's more well-known for his boxing, but his kicks are there if he needs them, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to number 6, Michael Venom Page. Listen, guys, MVP has a real argument to be, honestly, I would say in the top 3. And why do I say that? No, MVP is not, popping these crazy combinations, man. But Michael Venom Page, I don't think he's ever been outstruck in his entire career. Not just the UFC, but prior to the UFC. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know he's got caught before. But Michael Venom Page has such an awkward style, it's hard to gauge. And nobody has been able to figure him out on the feet. Am I right or am I wrong? Michael Venom Page, like I said, if there's no takedowns involved, obviously the path to beating Michael Venom Page is to take him down and smudge him up, probably submit him. His grappling is not elite, okay? But his striking is. He's outstriking Shar Bullet, man. He's outstriking Ian Gary. These are good strikers. Kevin Holland, not close. But the thing is, MVP, not a volume striker at all. He'll probably land 5 significant strikes in a single round, but he's not getting hit. That's MVP's whole game, is that he stays so far away from you, bouncing up and down. He's impossible to hit, guys. Striking defense is another thing that needs to be factored in. Now, MVP does not have the style to, he's not going to hit you with 200 significant strikes. He's just not. He's going to dart in with a 1-2, maybe just a bomb of a right hand, and then he's going to go back to range. Like I said, MVP is impossible to hit. The only way to beat Michael Venom Page is that either you catch him and time him when he comes in on the inside or take him down. There's no way that Michael Venom Page just gets outstruck on the feet via points. It's not a real thing. Until I see otherwise, it's not a real thing. I think MVP has a case to be even higher, man. I know he's a different style. That's what people don't like, or that's why people don't respect him and put him at the top, because he's a different style. He's not a traditional kickboxer. But Michael Venom Page, I don't see anybody outstriking him on the feet. So with that being said, MVP is at my 6. Moving on to 5, we got Petr Yan. Petr Yan is so beautiful, so technically sound, man. Yan is one of my favorite fighters to watch, especially, he might be my favorite striker to watch because it's so beautiful, so calculated. Like people say, he's just downloading data in round 1, and then he's going to let it fly in rounds 2, rounds 3, 2 through 5, man. Petr Yan's so beautiful to watch. He can switch stances very effortlessly as well. Very good from southpaw, very good from orthodox. Petr Yan has outstruck a lot of good strikers. I mean, you got the proof there. He's outstruck Corey Sandhagen, Jose Aldo, Marcus McGee, Song Yadong. Very close fight with Sean O'Malley, but he had to use the takedowns to win that fight. But either way, very, very competitive fight on the feet. Petr Yan, phenomenal striker. Some people have him in the top 3, and I respect it. I have him in the top 5. The only ways that we've seen Petr Yan lose a fight is either you bait him into throwing an illegal knee or he lost to a very, very tough matchup, very rangy striker in Sean O'Malley. And then, obviously, he lost to Marab. I mean, Merab's beating everybody. But Petr Yan is legit, man. Again, don't get me salivating and fantasizing about the trips that this man has, but that's not part of the striking game. But it's valid as well. Let's move on to number 4. I have Max Holloway. Guys, I've been saying this before the Dustin Poirier fight. Max Holloway at 155 is the best version of Max Holloway we have ever seen. Part of me wishes that Holloway would have jumped up to 55 a little bit earlier in his career before he got his chin cracked by Topuria. With that being said, does that mean his chin is gone? No. He's shown that he can still absorb shots from a heavy hitter like Dustin Poirier. But his chin is slightly declining. But Max Holloway, if we're talking about speed, precision, and now power, he has it all. And you want to throw in volume as well. He's not as much of a volume striker as he was back in the day. And that's what I love about Max Holloway. I think he has even become a better striker as he's getting older. He's been in the game for who knows how long, 15 years almost. Guys, he developed a spinning back kick against Justin Gaethje. Max Holloway uses all of his tools now. He doesn't have great leg kicks, but he has some good body kicks. He'll whip up a high kick every now and then. In the hands, of course, they're very sharp. Max Holloway is legit. I have him at number 4. He just outstruck Justin Gaethje. He just outstruck Dustin Poirier. They might be a little bit past their peak, but they're still great wins. And not only that, guys, I'm not trying to toot his horn on a loss, but he gave Ilia Topuria his toughest matchup, at least as of recent. Max Holloway's a great striker. I think right now, if he were to fight Volkanovski again, it's not really fair to say this, but at 155, Holloway beats Volkanovski. I don't think that's a hot take, but Holloway, is at the 4. Sean O'Malley's at 3, guys. Sean O'Malley, how is Sean O'Malley not a top 15 striker? If you know what I'm talking about, Kenny Okoye left Sean O'Malley off of his top 15 strikers in the UFC. It baffled me, okay? It baffled me. Sean O'Malley, the same guy that, yes, very competitive fight, but outstruck Petr Yan, who was, I believe, his number 2 striker in the UFC. And people are getting this wrong idea because Sean O'Malley lost to Merab twice. It's Merab. And before that, Sean O'Malley landed 230 strikes to Chito Vera's 80. That's a big deal. That's a big difference, okay? Before that, he sniped Aljamain Sterling, who's not an elite striker by any means, but he's not a bad striker at all. He doesn't just get slimed out like that. But Sean O'Malley, I love how he uses his range. He can be a volume striker when he wants to be. When he wants to be, he can be a counter striker. You pick your poison with O'Malley, unless you're Merab, you're probably getting chinned on the feet or getting beat up. Like I said, him and Petr Yan had a very close fight. I honestly think Yan won the fight. But without the 6 takedowns that Yan landed, O'Malley was winning the exchanges on the feet. Now, sure, Petr Yan definitely had his moments, but all in all, just on the feet, Sean O'Malley won the fight. But I have O'Malley at my 3. I'm not mad if you think he's 2, maybe even 1. I'm probably not going to put him 1. I think 3 is a good spot based on the 2 people that are above him. Moving on to 2. Yes, guys, Alex Pereira is still a top 2 striker in the UFC. Top 3 at the very least. I know he just got outstruck by Magomed Ankalaev, guys. Remember what I was saying. Styles make fights. Alex Poatan Pereira, let's not just forget all of the work that he's done before that. That's the thing that's wrong with UFC fans is a fighter can go on a historic run, and then the very next fight they lose, even a competitive fight, and everybody just thinks they're washed or they were never actually that good. Let me read you Alex Pereira's recent opponents prior to Magomed Ankalaev, okay? Khalil Roundtree, who a lot of people think is an elite striker. He doubled him in significant strikes, okay, and eventually put him away. Before that, Yuri Prohaska, the second fight. We know how that went, okay? Alex Pereira, 38 strikes to 7 for Yuri. Put him away at the very start of round 2. And then if you look before that, yes, Jamal Hill, who before the Alex Pereira fight was a former champion, good striker. People thought he was a really good striker. What did Pereira do? He embarrassed him on the feet. And then before that again, he knocked out Yuri Prohaska the first time. And Yuri had to wrestle in that fight, guys. Go before that. He beat Jan Blachowicz by split decision, but Jan Blachowicz, again, had to wrestle. Now, just because Magomed Ankalaev beat Alex Pereira does not necessarily mean that he's a better striker than Poatan. We'll have to see what happens in the rematch, but I still have Big Ank in my top 10. I'm not trying to disrespect him. But Pereira is a much more complete striker. Now, Ankalaev definitely has the speed, maybe even has the boxing. But when we're looking at just who's the better striker, it's Alex Pereira. I'm telling you, Even the thought of a takedown coming your way changes the game. And when Alex Poatan Pereira is on the pressure, that's a bad man. Alex Pereira is a very, very good kickboxer. And not only that, guys, yes, power does hold weight. Pereira's finishing everybody outside of Ankalaev, but Pereira might be the pound for pound hardest hitter in the UFC. It's either him or it's this guy. And he's at my number one, and that is Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria, I mean, I don't know what else you want him to do. Ilia Topuria is the best striker in the UFC. And yes, he doesn't throw many kicks. He'll throw a leg kick every now and then. He'll throw some leg kicks, okay? He's never thrown a body kick. He's never thrown a head kick in the UFC. He doesn't need to. The thing about Ilia is people just say, oh, you can't just go in there and box with him. Ilia Topuria makes you. It's a trap, okay? He draws you in. He forces you to fight his fight. He's proven that time and time again. Ilia Topuria knocked out Volkanovski. Great win. Great striker. I still believe him to be a top 10 striker. You just saw him. He knocked out Max Holloway, a top 5 striker in the UFC. And then after that, look what he did to Charles Oliveira. You could see the levels. The levels was on display, and I hate it for Charles Oliveira, but he wasn't even close. The skill level's not even close on the feet. And the proof is right there. Ilia Topuria knocked him out in what? 2 minutes? The first real exchange, maybe the second real exchange on the feet. Talk about effective striking. Nobody can stand with Ilia Topuria and stay conscious, unless your name is Josh Emmett. I don't know how he did that. That's honestly very impressive, but he still got 50-42'd. His life is changed forever. His brain is probably permanently damaged. But Ilia Topuria is the most effective striker in the UFC. I don't know what else he has to do, especially if he goes out there and beats Islam Makhachev, guys. We need this matchup. We need this matchup before they retire. Ilia versus Islam. The winner is the GOAT of the sport. But I'm telling you, Ilia's proven it time and time again. You cannot stand with that man. And that is what my ranking is based off. No takedowns involved, because if takedowns are a factor in this, or the threat of a takedown, Ankalaev would be higher. Islam would be top 5. But this is my list, guys. I hope y'all enjoy. A lot of these are very, very interchangeable. Let me know what you think in the comments. Even though my opinion is right, yours might not be. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we out.